appreciate you being here. You're excited to be in ACC week. Open up our conference schedule. Here this week against an extremely talented Virginia football team. This is a team that offensively, one of the best in the country. Defensively, you see the just the confidence in which they're playing with. Continuing to get guys back. You've had some early season injuries, but you really felt the great speed and physicality in the game there on Saturday night. Going on the road Friday night. National TV. I mean, it's an exciting opener for us. Our guys, I think have handled the short week and just the adjustment of what we do. I think they've handled that well up to this point. Today was a highly spirited, fast practice. I thought we came out with great intent and purpose, and really feel this team pushing and fighting to go get better. And it's like I said, it's a big challenge in front of us. Everything we've done, and through off season, fall camp, and even in these first 3 weeks with the bye week is to prepare for the uncomfortable situations. And when you go on the road, I mean they're going to show up. For whether it's some of the opportunities of distraction, whether it's on the long bus ride to the stadium, whether it's just the crowd being against you, whether it's the momentum swings that show up throughout the course of the game. I mean, you got to control you, and that's what we've really had a big focus on. Throughout the competitive aspects of what we do, all the way back to January, and I'm excited to see our guys able to put that on display. But you're proud of where we are, and you're excited for what's ahead. Yeah, and I did want to do. I actually want to start with this, but definitely, Derek just gave me the news, and your hearts and thoughts and prayers are with Coach Clark, the whole UCF family. Just obviously tragic loss. For him, for his family, just that entire program. Great coach. Didn't know him personally, but you only heard great things throughout the profession. But definitely, our thoughts are with his family and all the whole UCF program.
All right, start with Ira.
You guys obviously have done a good job with kind of building an offense kind of around Tommy and using his strengths. Do you see Virginia doing the same thing with Morris in terms of accentuating with his talents?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're extremely multiple. He's a challenge to have to go against. He can keep plays alive. Even when times haven't got a whole lot of pressure on him, but even when times that people have gotten to him, I mean, he's been able to escape. He keeps his eyes down the field. He is a threat as a runner, and I think they're doing a really good job offensively of being so multiple in the ways that they're attacking. Whether it's formations, tempo, him as a run threat. Their vertical passing game. I thought that was they were elite in that the other day. Against Stanford. I mean, they've got some receivers that can absolutely go. They can absolutely play. Running backs run hard. It's like I said, there's a reason why they're averaging well over 500 yards. I mean, they're an impressive group, and so I think he's definitely a wonderful spark for them.
Come over here to Brendan.
When we talked to Coach White yesterday, you mentioned the stats for the defense looked really good through the game. There's things that you wanted to see kind of elevate. What do you see as the next step? What needs to happen, especially with the test coming up this
Yeah,
week?
I mean, it takes 11 as one, and there can be times where an individual player has a great play that sometimes covers up maybe a bigger issue, and it's our challenge to our offense, our defense, special teams is man, what are you putting on film? What are the things that what are those areas where we might show it can be a productive result, but in the moment, is that the best we can be, or can we be in the best position? And you find that that urgency that you don't just get satisfied with the result. You get satisfied with the push to be excellent, and that's the absolute best we can be in all things. I think there were some missed tackles that showed up. There was obviously a couple opportunities where our communication needs to be better. Where we didn't have all 11 executing as one. And that's really in all phases. We had that show up at some point there, on Saturday. And so, I think our guys, they're embracing the challenge that's being presented by our coaches, and because they see it and they understand how important it is. As you continue to go through the course of a season, everybody's going to get better. And as more film gets out there, you're gonna, if you don't correct the areas of vulnerability, then you're going to get exposed.
Liam?
You kind of touched on it earlier, but do you enjoy getting these guys in an uncomfortable environment on the road, a test on a Friday night in the conference? How are you looking forward to kind of seeing these guys respond to that after a couple weeks at home?
No, I mean, it's, obviously the way the schedule is laid out, we've been in, obviously we played in big game, we've been on the national spotlight, but, this is unique. It's our first night game. Doing it on the road on a Friday night, I know it's going to be an electric crowd, that is excited about their team, and they're excited about their team because what they've seen, and this is a football team that's playing with a lot of confidence. I mean, they're very capable for what I've seen throughout the ACC play. I mean, this is a team that can absolutely contend, because of what they do and the players that they have. So. It's going to be a great fight, and I know that the preparation is critical. Having a short week, having to travel, a lot of those elements. It's what you do with it, and how you handle yourself, how you respond, and it's everything leading up to Friday night. But then it's 3.5 hours through the course of that game that you gotta be on point.
Brendan?
How's Tommy doing? With a few days of rest.
Yeah, I mean, today he was able to get some work. I think I feel confident about where that's going to be. Obviously, we'll continue to see how the week plays out.
Ira?
How rare is it for somebody like Mackay to go from changing positions, not be available for much in the spring, and then to look that natural as a receiver? I mean, is that?
Well, we saw there were some flashes there even a year ago that throughout the course of practice, I think he had a couple of times in a game, in those 4 games that he played, but you saw. I mean, I wouldn't just hope that it worked in the move. I believe that it would be a great fit and position for him. His work ethic, his growth, and I think Coach Harris is doing a great job with him and just developing as a receiver, and he's showcasing the playmaking ability that we all believed that he had. And so I mean, it's one day at a time, and you have somebody that is got an incredible work ethic and determination to go be it. So I think it is just all of that coming together that's allowed it to be probably a faster transition than what some might have.
Corey?
2 quick ones. First, Randy Pittman and Squirrel White. I guess that's 3 actually. That was just the first question. What do we see with their availability? Sorry, that's my bad.
So is that another question?
Yeah, that's about. Yeah, I guess I just asked 5, but I do have another one after that if I could.
Okay.
6 for 1.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
We gotta work through this. So Randy and Squirrel both participated today. Barring a setback, I feel very confident that they'll both be available. But we'll see how it plays out.
And this is the.
He didn't even raise his hand. He just took it. He said,
Well, I thought it was
I love that.
I asked Gus this yesterday. When you're leading the nation in
So
scoring.
it's 2 for 1, really, with already been asked.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
Yeah. Putting up all these points and all these yards and the way you all played through 3 games, how do you keep them? Is it hard to keep a team like this grounded? Like, hey, it's still 3 games into the season. You haven't even played a road game yet.
No, it's because it's not. Because when you go in and you watch the film, like when you see it, like there's like. We want best. We want, everything that what we did. Yes, we scored some points, and we're all excited about that, right? That's what we go out there to do. But when you see, it's not about the opponent you're playing, whether it's Alabama, whether it's any of the previous opponents, any future opponents we're playing. Are we going out there and are we putting on display, who we are, showcasing our training, showcasing our work, and being able to execute in that moment. And I'm proud of our guys for what they've done, but there's still areas that it's not good enough. That's not you. We're opening doors of opportunity for, small things that can get exposed, and so that's like, I want them to be fighting to get that corrected, and I think they have, and it's it's that edge that's allowed them to get better. Because I do think we've gotten better, regardless of who you play. I mean, I think we've gotten better through these last couple weeks. But it's we're going to play a challenging opponent Friday night, and they've got 3 games to watch on us for getting to understand our personnel, what we do, how we do it, and we've got to be ready to go out there and execute and respond to whatever might show up. And so that's the Gus is like I said, he's incredible when it comes to being able to communicate that, point that out, challenge guys with it, but while through the whole part of it, building confidence to what we can be, and that's there's going to be times where defenses are going to have good plays against us, and you might get knocked down on a couple plays, and ultimately just let's make sure that they earn it. Let's make sure that it's something that we didn't open the door for it, but that's all part, and then we'll respond and go get better through that experience. So. It's not, and that's the big picture as a team. And I mean, you sit there and you win your first 3 games, great. And what are you doing today?
Matt.
Kevin Wynn also made his first appearance on 2 Deep. What has his status been? How has he been?
So he's another guy that you've got some work today. It will be, we'll see the response just through coming off later today. How's he feeling? Coming in tomorrow, what does that workload look like? I'm hopeful that we can have him available for Friday night. I mean, he was somebody that really kind of established himself, pre-injury as being right there in the mix in that rotation, and I fully expect him to play when he's capable and ready to play. And we're hopeful that we can get him out there come Friday if he's ready. But I think there is a path to that, but just got to see how things respond.
Liam.
We saw Chase Loftin leave the field in that game against Kent State. Do you have an update on him? I see something.
Yeah, Chase will be out for a period of time. We still got to see just what that looks like throughout the course of this week. Ultimately, it's unfortunate that occurred there on Saturday, but I mean he's really seen some great progression from him. There at the receiver position and kind of what he's been able to do. So we'll kind of determine. He'll be out this week. Probably the next couple of weeks, but hopefully we'll be able to get him back sooner than later.
Brendan.
With this being the first year the ACC has had the injury reports, this will be the first week for you guys. Do you like that level of transparency around the league? Like, how much can you glean from what teams are putting out there?
No, I mean we actually kind of went through our, I guess you rehearse for all things. We did it on our end. You didn't post all things, but we kind of worked through it of just like what that would look like. Here through the non-conference of just our operation, and yeah, it's fine. I mean, for whatever the purpose and reason. I mean, I think there's a lot of different levels, and we'll see how it all plays out when you see it in effect. But doesn't matter as much.
Like, do you pay attention if another team puts it out? Like, are you guys taking that information and running with it, or do you just think it's kind of for show? I don't know how much weight you put into it.
Ultimately, I guess it's going to go down to what. I mean, if somebody's out, then somebody's out, and questionable. What does that look like? I mean, we'll probably have a couple guys that are questionable this week, and Kevin will probably be one of them. We'll see what that looks like of how it goes, but wouldn't be shocked if he plays. But we gotta see where that's going to go. So you just take each situation that's unique to itself, and I guess it's questionable, probable, or out.
All right.
The way Gavin finishes runs, is that strength? Is it determination? Is it a skill? Like, is it something the other backs can learn from?
No, I think it's a yes. I mean, it's all of that. I mean, that every bit of that ties into being a really good back, and I think that Gavin has worked and developed himself to being that. And he's somebody we recruited out of high school, and we had a high level of belief of what it could be. Obviously he was in Colorado, didn't really get that that far after he committed to his previous school. But something I really liked, and he does have speed. He's got explosiveness. I think he put that a little bit on display the other day. But he is determined. He's strong in the lower body. He can run through arm tackles, and when you watch a lot of backs, sometimes the back, when they get hit, their feet will momentarily pause. I mean, he's an accelerator through contact, and I think that allows that to push piles forward, and he's done a great job of always moving forward. When he's been contacted, and I think we've got a couple guys in that room that are very natural at that. But it is all of those characteristics that allow that to be a reality.
Corey? Did BJ Gibson win the punt returner job in his debut, I guess?
Well, I mean, I was proud of him for being able to go out there and execute. We wanted to put him, he's a guy that he was dealing with a little bit of an injury last week, and so it wasn't. We didn't go into it. He was in a questionable status of last week, and as we got to game day, he felt good. And then we were able to get him some reps there offensively, and then late in the game, I definitely wanted to give him an opportunity. I thought that was he did a great job fielding the ball, getting vertical, being strong. So he's definitely he's an impact player for us, I believe, as he continues to grow. And whether that's in return game, he's done some great things in special teams. He's still continuing to push himself there and just to, clean up some of the smaller things just at receiver. But I'm excited about what he can be, and so we'll see where that goes.
All right, last one, Bob.
Coach, with the short week, how much has the schedule changed at all? And then how much did the bye week maybe help as far as advanced scouting for Virginia?
Oh, we utilized it. Yeah, I mean, during the bye week, there was we had a very specific plan for how we wanted to use each of those days, just to get a little bit of an advanced look. I mean, I thought we did a nice job of kind of being able to execute that with our opponent last week and having a plan there, and then you'll be able to come into this week with a good foundation after seeing 3 games. We got to watch the Stanford game there after ours on Saturday, but it's today's we're rocking strong with a wonderful Tuesday, and tomorrow will be a great Wednesday, and that's kind of how we've adapted. Last night was a little bit different. We did have yesterday was a work day for us, just minus practice. One of the guys, they got treatments. We were able to get a lift to get a little bit of soreness out of the body, and then we had a team meeting last night just to have all of our focus on what's ahead for this week, and quick offensive defensive meeting just to clean up some of the issues and kind of present that foundation for Virginia. So I think we've done a good job, but obviously we'll see how good of a job come Friday night.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you guys.